Time for my scheduled show. We are going a couple hours early because I have something to do later on this evening. So I hope you will forgive me. So I did want to show this off though. See how these are the Reaper skeleton men, skeletoids, whatever. But because I am that guy, this is one that I modified up heavily. You can see it's got a different set of big ass claws. It's got a whole different. That's the torso from a Goliath with a big ass hammer. Even though normally these guys dual wield, you can see where I'm going to have to put something around there to kind of flush it in better. But, for what it is, it looks good. It looks really good. And I ended up, because I bought so many of those plastic scorpions from Hobby Lobby, I ended up just one of them. Like I said, one of them couldn't be mounted to the base because the legs were straight out instead of down. So I just cut it up. There's nothing saying this guy is going to be a more special scorpion guy. I mean, he might be. Maybe I'll make him some kind of spellcaster or something, but even if he's not, it just makes me happier to have a different looking figure so that, they all don't look exactly the same. That is something I don't care for, right? Now, what's weird is they all come with a sword, but in the monster book, they dual wield. They claw, sword, sting. However, even though they all come with just the one sword, the way the other hand is by my thumb, it'd be really easy to pin just another weapon in there. So that I'm pretty happy with that. Pretty glad with that. The guy with the two-handed hammer, or Tetsubo or whatever the hell that is, that's just gonna have to be. He doesn't get a sword, claw sting. He gets a freaking big ass hammer, claw sting. So less attacks, but possibility of more damage, I guess. Because a big two-handed club like that's a die 10 damage. And then if he has a strength bonus, that could actually deliver quite a little bit of a hit. And then I've got all my blimmies, all my little blimmy guys, skin toned, except this guy I just found out doesn't have a belt. So he's just running around with his naked butt. So I'm going to have to fix that. Right. Going to have to give him a belt. And I've started working on my People of the Dawnlands. I've got like 20 of them. Of course, half of them are not really very usable because they're females and babies. I guess they're a little bit usable, but whatever. Now, one thing, that join, I'm going to put a little bit more green stuff around it. I'm going to just make a little bit of whatever, put a little bit of green stuff around it and smooth that join down. And then if I feel it needs it, because I have so many bits and bobs from other kits, I can throw a skull on, I can throw some kind of decorative object on. I could give him some belt pouches. I mean, you see where I'm going, right? Basically, what I'm saying is I can cover that joint up so that no one would even see it. And, when you're kit bashing, sometimes that's just how you do, Sometimes it just be that way. So, Using my finger at first. If I have to get in anywhere narrow, I'll pull out one of my knives. Just press it into that gap. I mean, a scorpion wearing like a big fur cape. That's kind of cool, I guess, right? They live on a frozen tundra like plateau. And apparently they're absolutely just the worst. Just the worst kind of guys to deal with. So yeah. Of course, I'm sure they wander around raiding and stuff. It's like, my party encountered orcs by Brigands Bay. That's all the way across the continent from Orcust, but like I said, there's war bands of orcs that are just wandering around, raiding and pillaging as they go, because it is kind of an orky thing to do. So yeah, there we go. So that's a lot better, a lot smoother looking, but it's definitely going to need some stuff. So let me set that down. I've got a ton of stuff I could put on him. I've got like a dagger, uh, still in the sheath. That could be something really cool to put on him. I've got a horn. That might look good, right? Just a horn. The guy is carrying a freaking big signal horn. That could be cool. I've got a bunch of pouches, various different kinds of pouches and canteens and stuff. So yeah. Now the first thing I'm going to do real quick is again make another thin little sausage of green stuff. And it helps if you get your fingers a little wet when you do this, if you don't want it to stick to you too much. But this thin little layer of green stuff is going to be going on this clown right here. This clown right here, the clown without the belt. Because the blimmies all need belts. Because, I mean, they're carrying equipment and stuff, right? And the original Blimmy, I guess was just a big naked giant. But my little Blimmies, they live in a society, I guess. So they need clothes. They can't just be running around. And again, Blimmies, they are from ancient Greek stories, but I believe they're from even more contemporary stories. You always hear about like this person or that person landing on an island, encountering people who, their heads were in their chests or something. I think one of the Spanish conquistadors claimed to have encountered a tribe like that in South America, if I remember correctly. Don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure that they something about in Patagonia even. So, but the original story, much like a lot of things, started with the Greeks. I've been reconnected. Oh, so now it connects. So, how you doing, Chris? But yeah, so basically, they were, I think, originally something that the Greeks wrote about, but stories. I think the Spanish mentioned encountering them. What's up, Tim? In Patagonia. So I put a belt on him. And now that I got the belt on him, I have to find a tiny little shield, like the tiniest of tiny little buckler shields. And that's what I make the belt buckle out of. Yeah, this freaking thing's already acting up. Like, damn it. So there it is. There's a tiny little shield. Right? And then they finally decide they're just going to move to Saturn. Because that's where they live in the Clark Ashton Smith story. They live in Saturn. Or on Saturn. Yeah, not in it, but on it. The story is called Doorway to Saturn. It's actually a really good story. It's about two men who absolutely hate each other, ending up on Saturn together. And all the shenanigans they get into, which are many and varied. But I do believe I saw art from like the Spaniards claiming that some of these guys either lived on one of the islands they visited or Patagonia or something. Which, come on, we know they didn't, but still. Come on now. But yeah, the human explorers show up and they're just like, well, time to get out of here, guys. So Chris and Tim, how are you? Both. I hope you are very well today. Hope this day finds you in good spirits. And Chris, I hope you have a wonderful day at work. All right, try to even that belt out there once a little bit better. I can use my thumbnail to just kind of line it up a little bit. So now that I've put the green stuff on, and then there's the tiny little shield has a big belt buckle, and he's got turges on. So like the Roman protective thing. You know what they say? They say a lot. So I'm not sure. But whoever they is, they don't ever shut up, do they? In Lightyear, they were actually mutants, Chris. I know exactly you're talking about because before it was called Lightyear, it was called Gondahar. And they're the ones that always talk in I was, will be, because they never talk in the presence, but they always talk past future. They were experiments. The Gandaharians had made experiments and they came out all jacked up. And so instead of facing what they had done, the ancient Gandaharians had just ran them out into the wasteland. And then one of them ends up being like the hero's buddy and everything. Got to run errands and then head home. Hey, I know how it is. Thank you. I appreciate that. Everybody's gangster until the sky's missing pixels, right? I appreciate that, Chris. So yeah, these guys were holding up like big ox heads, and I think I'm just going to glue some rocks on them, so it looks like the female cavemen are like getting ready to chuck a rock down on somebody or something. It's weird how that got dark all of a sudden. So, so that'll be cool. I've got two more scorpionoids or scorpionoids to put together. See, I'm not saying this is, I'm going to leave this green stuff there, but this is what I'm thinking. But I might just go out and, like I said, find some pebbles, some actual little bits of rock, and glue right in there. So, and I found this guy who, I don't know how I missed this guy. The really cool people out there will know what this guy is when I show it to you. Big James, what's up, brother? But only the really cool people will know what this is when I show it. Everyone else, if you're not a really cool person, you won't have any idea what this is. I know it's metal, so you can't see it a lot, but it's an alien wearing goggles, and it's got big skin flaps between its arms and its legs, and attached to its body, too. This is a figure like this is what separates the grognards from the new guys. You know? And a lot of the times I change out their guns, but this guy, he's got that Gyrojet pistol. I think I'm going to leave him with that Gyrojet pistol. That Gyrojet pistol looks kind of badass. And then this guy right here, I think I'm going to glue a dagger and a pouch on to help hide the. Since none of you guys leapt to answer, that's a Yazarian. Is what that is. I know you probably couldn't see it, so it wasn't really fair. But yeah, that's a Yazarian from Star Frontiers, which is one of, yeah, see, James got it. One of the best sci-fi games. I know a lot of people disagree, but maybe I just say that because of nostalgia, but man, we played that game for so long, and we had so much fun. Eventually, we switched over to Traveler. And of the two games, I'll be honest with you, I'm not always 100% sure which one I like better. You know what I mean? It's like, I love Traveler. Everybody knows that. Loves me some Traveler, especially 2300. That's my jam. But there are some things about Star Frontiers that I just think are just the bee's knees. And one of them is the aliens. I've never liked Traveler aliens. Not ever, ever, ever. I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, what do you mean? The Vargar are cool, or the Aslan are cool, or the Wops. I don't like them. I think they suck. Yeah, the Sathar. And here was a thing. I was talking to some guys on the Star Frontiers board, because there is a Star Frontiers board out there. And I was talking about, if you ever saw the miniseries The Strain, I was talking about, what if the Sathar can actually infect a human with a baby Sathar, and then that Sathar control the human, kind of like the Strain. Like maybe that's how they reproduce. And then on their homeworld, it would mean that they would have some kind of mammalian life form that they specifically keep around just so they can infect to make more Sathar. And so we were talking about that for a while, and a lot of the guys I was talking to seemed to think it was a pretty nifty concept. I'm not saying anyone ran with it, but you know, it wasn't immediately shot down by the Grogs. So, I mean, there's that. That is something. So, what the hell? My screen just went black. I think the best aliens in role-playing games is definitely Star Frontiers. Definitely. They're somewhat believable, and they're weird, you know? Like if you play, the thing about Star Frontiers aliens is they're not humans in skin suits. These are totally different things. It's not like how the Varg is basically just a chaotic human. The Aslan's pretty much a Klingon. You know, they're just kind of hanging out, doing their thing, right? The Dralisite is a totally alien life form. Now, the Yazirian's kind of similar to a human, but that makes sense. It's a mammal, right? Sathar, no one even knows what in the F they want. The only thing we know is they show up into like non-Sathar worlds and start killing everything. But no one's ever communicated with one of them. When they die, their guts are so full of bacterium that it eats them up. They literally start disintegrating when they die or turning into goo. They can supposedly hypnotize people. That is a Sathar ability. So yeah, I mean, so you got your Yazirians. They're basically flying monkeys that can go into berserker mode because they can do that. Then you've got the Rusk, who are 10-legged, kind of praying mantis, kind of ant, kind of whatever type creatures, and they're super into science, like logic, you know, because they operate in these hive communities basically. Except you're not born into the hive community; you get to join the one you want. So their corporations function as hives, pretty much. And then you have the Dralicites, everyone's favorite. I mean, who doesn't love a giant walking, wisecracking, dad joke telling beanbag? Because that's pretty much what a Dralicite is. And then, of course, the more they learn how to control their body, they can produce more and more hands and legs. And, you know, they are based on worms, but they do have limbs, but they don't have fingers. Their hands in like pads. And that makes me think of like something that might have lived in a swamp or the water, you know. They also have like their eyes have two pupils in them. But yeah, if you open up the books and you look up Sathar, no one knows shit about them. And this is a game that came out literally in like the early 80s, and nobody still knows shit about the Sathar, except they got really wicked looking starships. Sathar starships are awesome looking. And they like to just show up and F shit up for no good reason. Yeah, they could have been some kind of squid-like thing. I don't know. Well, you did have those kind of octopoid things on Volturnus, but they were still at the level of like the Plains Indians in technology. You know, they were still kind of hanging down in the Neolithic period, more or less. But you could get them to help you, so that's a bonus, right? You could talk them into helping you out. You just had to pass a bunch of freaking tests and hopefully not die. But yeah, the Sathar always paint their ships like this blood red color, and they rarely have any markings. And like I said, no one understands how they even communicate, really. And if you have the Nighthawks box set, which I've had forever, right? Me and Haas used to play battles between, the United Planetary Federation, UPF versus Sathar Raiders and stuff like that. And that's a good Starship Combat game too. A lot of people sleep on it, but it's actually one of the better Starship Combat games that was ever made. Now, this is where anybody could say, well, that's just your opinion, James. And I would have to say, yeah, that's true. That is true. That is just my opinion. I could be totally, you could be like, my favorite whatever game is Full Thrust or whatever. And I'd be like, well, yeah, okay. I mean, if that's what you want, but yeah, the worm thing, pretty much, I just really, really loved that miniseries Strain. I thought it was so good. And then I was talking with my brother about Star Frontiers because we do that on occasion for whatever reason. And I was like, imagine if, you know what I mean? The Sathar reproduce by injecting worms into like their young, which are little worms, into, and then when the worms they climb up into the brain stem of the creature and they just take its body over, right? So then you could have the Sathar come onto a planet, infect people, and then those people basically turn into zombified whatevers, running around doing crazy shit or spying on the UPF, and then when it's time for them to go home, uh, they find a way to communicate with the home fleet and get picked up and uh, eventually hatch out of that body. And you could even have it where they inject multiple spawn into one host. So, you would have lots of, like, you infect one human and end up with 6, 7 Sathar. I wouldn't let it work on Drowsites or Rust because I don't believe that they're actually warm-blooded. But humans and Yserians would definitely be having to watch their asses. But yeah. Maybe the Drowsites are warm-blooded. I'd have to reread it, but I didn't think they were. Okay, what have I got here? Okay, that's not what I want. I want my snakebite leather. The best contrast color ever made. That's right. Snakebite leather. You could just do so much with this. Your boots, pants, gloves, you name it. Snakebite leather will do it for you. Let's grab a new brush because I keep destroying my old brushes. Luckily, I've got like 50 of them there, so that's okay. It comes time to restock. And this figure has been sitting on my table for damn near a year. So, and all he needs is like his boots and his armor done. So that's just a failure on my part right there, So I'm going to go ahead and at least do his boots up. And then I'm going to maybe put another scorpion guy together. At some point, I'm going to have to find a way, whether it's with this batch of scorpions or whether I got to buy another batch of scorpions, which I hope not, because you can only get them in metal, and that sucks. But I need to do the inside of the shield too, where it's wood. I want to make at least one of them female, because in the Hyperborea bestiary, it talks about how, they have the females and how they're like even worse than the males, whatever. So Yeah, I'd like to make one a female, but it might be difficult to find the right miniature female that I can actually cut off and put on because their waists are very long. I mean, they're kind of narrow down at the bottom, but then they get really broad. So that could be a situation. So I'm mounting these bad boys on, I think this is a 60 mil base. I've already applied Eastern Front mud to it, and it's going to get snow because these guys, like I said, they live in the tundra. They're always running around up there doing whatever. In the Plateau of Nix. So what I'll do is I'll just dribble some snow on it. I won't cover it completely with snow. I'll just make it out like, yeah, there's some snow, but you can also still see the mud underneath. So it'll look kind of like Kentucky when it snows in the winter. I mean, yeah, you can see the snow, but you can definitely still see a lot of the mud. So I put the link in, and I know I'm terrible about this, but literally, when I put the link in, that is an open invitation. Do not feel like you need to be invited by name. And if you don't want to, you are not, beholden to. This is all whatever you want to do. See. Now, if I don't know your name, I probably will have a hard time wanting to let you into the stream because I'm a little bit afraid that somebody will get in here and want to, show their unit or something. And I don't need all that, right? So, got my Valhalla snow, and we're just smearing it around. Smear, smear, smear. Right, just smear it around. Not even trying to make it look neat or anything. I've got some like dead grass I should probably put on this thing too, like a couple of tufts of dead grass. Then go back with a finger, slightly damp, and just tap the peaks down a little bit. Tap it into the base. Then whatever sticks to my finger, I just slide it off on the edge. So it's going to look like something like that. All right, hold on, Timmy. Timmy. It's time for Timmy and the Lords of the Underworld. Da-na-na, 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 da-na-na. You want on the stream so you can show me your unit. That happened to Shadow for real.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Space
Shadow,
Marines.
100% invited someone he didn't know on, and they were 100% had their junk out.
Don't worry, he's not talking about that unit. He's talking about Space Marines.
Oh, yeah. See, Space Marines I can deal with.
Yeah.
I got a guy. He had to go do a family thing, but as soon as he gets back, he's coming over. I've sold him some stuff before, so he'll be coming over to pick up basically everything I had left of my Warhammer 40K stuff. And I will be completely with no Warhammer 40K stuff.
Oh.
Yep. That will be the end of my long-time career of Warhammer 40K. Done. Now,
well, Jim.
I kept all my 30K stuff though.
Yeah, I figured.
So, yeah.
Well, James, Bloodsworth had to deal with the troll yesterday.
A troll?
Oh, yeah. Somebody who didn't
use
like
fire
him,
or acid, dude.
Fire acid. I'm talking about a guy on his Discord. He he was calling Bloodsworth a Nazi and all that stuff, saying how he was going to punch him and all that stuff.
What?
Yeah,
Bloodworth?
yeah, because they didn't like what he said on his stream the other day.
What did he say on his stream?
It was all about 5e and the stupid things they were doing at Wizards of the Coast.
Oh, man. I mean,
It was-
Bloodworth probably just laughed at the kid and told him.
Oh, he did. He did. It made some pretty funny, a pretty funny like roast of him.
Yeah, like, oh, you said something mean about the role playing game I play, so now I'm gonna be, yeah, whatever. These people, I don't
Yeah.
even know what to say about them. Like, if someone gets on and they're like, you know what, Hyperboreus sucks and you suck, and blah blah blah, I'm just gonna be like, well, okay then. You know what I mean? All right. You're wrong.
Yeah.
Hyperborea is the greatest game ever, and I don't suck. But you're welcome to your opinion. I don't care.
Yeah, Bloodsworth was like, yeah, these guys keep saying that they're, in MMA. I wonder if they mean Munch's monkey ass.
So they're getting on his channel and then saying they're MMA guys.
Yeah.
Because we all know so many of those professional MMA guys are sitting around playing freaking, 5e Rainbow Twinkles just all day.
Yeah.
It's like, get out of here.
The guy was even saying that he could beat up Marines and all that stuff.
He was 12. Saying you can beat a Marine up is not braggable.
No.
I mean, the Marine Corps is full of badasses. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not full of badasses, but it's got pussies in it too. That's the equivalent of some dude saying, you don't want to mess with me, man. I'm from New York. It's like, and I'm from Eastern Kentucky. Let's get it on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know? That's how you know it had to be a kid. Because a full-grown man that knew anything about anything would never have tried to lean on, I can beat Marines up. That is like that is really, really like.
Even if it was, you know what? I'd like to see it. I just be like, yeah, well, I'd like to see that. Probably get your ass.
That's got to be some grade school shit right there.
I know.
I mean, passed him around, cooked him good. That's what he gets. I mean, show up and just start shit. Man, these guys. Imagine how insecure of a human you have to be that you go out of your way to go to a place you know you don't want to be. Because, I mean, he knows he don't want to be in your Discord, right? Or Bloodworth's Discord. He knows that.
Yeah.
But you just have to go into that Discord and talk shit and then talk about how you can beat up Marines or something. That is like some second grade level,
Yep.
That's just and it kind of aggravates me a little bit. I mean, Bloodworth is a full-grown man. He can handle himself. I know that. But of all the guys, basically, that I deal with online, he's like the least offensive.
Oh, I know.
It's like,
yeah.
Oh, let's get it on.
I would say he's very tame in his videos. He's just like, oh yeah, I don't like that. He mostly just.
Yeah, Bloodworth doesn't have opinions that people should be getting really mad about. I mean, he is very, very laid back. Like, people being mad at me, I totally get. Because I've had opinions people don't like about the same-sex thing. I've had opinions people don't like about the small hat community. And that's why a lot of people you see on other shows that are, orbiting that same whatever. So you'll see people on Max's show or Richard's show that you'll never see on my show
Yeah,
because
James.
they hate my guts.
I have the most hated opinion on the small hat community.
See, I don't know if that's true. I know, like, what's his name? The Grumpy GM. He hates my gut. That dude hates me
Yeah.
with a white hot passion because
But
I went off on politics one time and I said something about the LGBT community and something about the little hat community. And he, of course, got offended because apparently he's both. And then I'm like, how can you be both when Moses in Leviticus ordered that the man who sleeps with another man should be put to death?
Yep.
So you're disobeying the great prophet Moses. But then again, I don't think he's practicing anything, though.
Nah.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't agree with everything Bloodworth says, but he is a solid, good guy. He is just a good guy. He's a better guy than I am. I will say that right now. But I would much rather hang out with Bloodworth than myself.
The reason I say I have the most hated opinion on the small hat community is because I just don't care.
Yeah,
that angers everybody.
Yeah, like, I don't care either way.
It's like, I don't care. And then everybody's mad at you, like, whoa, why don't you hate them? It's like, because I just don't. And why don't you love them? Because I just don't.
Yeah, I don't hate anything except my first ex-wife, and I have personal reasons for that. But I do tell the truth. And some people do not like the truth. But it is what it is. I can't change it, and I'm not going to be one of these guys and I'm not trying to start any sort of thing. So let's not even get into it. I'm just saying this. If you engage me on matters of theology, don't get mad when I tell you the truth. Because I had to talk to somebody about this because they're talking about James and his religious debates. And I'm like, you guys bring that shit up. Everybody's like, oh, James talks. No, somebody brings it up, and then I say whatever, and then all of a sudden I'm preaching online all the time.
Why are you preaching online all the time, James? Why?
Tim, you my homie, man.
I know.
Yeah, the dude on the couch. That's what I'm saying, Coco.
Yeah.
Just be like, yeah, that's just like your opinion, man. And then go get yourself a white Russian and be like, abide, right? Get your white Russian and just abide.
Steve, we don't have Baba Yaga's huts here. We just have Baba Yaga's trailer.
Yeah. No, I got Baba Yaga's fast food joint. See, there it is. I even glued some rocks to it and half of a barrel for some reason. And like, I should buy some skeletons from War Games Atlantic and actually, instead of building the skeletons, use their long bones and make a fence around the base. That would be cool. And I should do that. And it wouldn't even be super expensive to do. As a matter of fact, I probably got enough of them laying around on the sprue to do that, to actually, because Baba Yaga's hut is supposed to. Now, I don't like the house. If I'm 100% honest with you, Reaper, I don't like their house. I think Baba Yaga's hut should have been a big round hut with a conical roof and, maybe a bronze smokestack sticking out of it or something like that. I don't think it should have looked like the house on that cartoon where the house is haunted. You know the one, Monster House?
Yeah, I know.
If you look really close at this thing, it looks like Monster House.
It does, yeah.
So I am not a huge fan of the fact that they did it the way they did the house. But could this be encountered in... the base is a big-ass giant Warhammer base. And the dirt that is currently on it is Vallejo Eastern Front mud, which I use a lot. And what's good about it, I've learned this over time, because you can buy the mud, the Vallejo mud, in all kinds of different colors, right? But yeah, it does got the gangster lean. The chicken legs are kind of leaning forward on it, and there's no way to change that. I mean, this thing is like solid as hell. Well, I guess I could get it really hot in water and whatever, but the Vallejo mud you can paint. So now instead of buying Vallejo sand, I just put the Russian mud on, and when it's dry, I take some Iraqi sand, also Vallejo color, and dry brush it. Looks fine. Yep. I probably should take some a blue color and do the glass in the windows. But yeah, if I had my way, if I were going to do it all over again, I would have tucked this house and set it to the side. And I would have tucked these chicken legs, and I would have found a big witchy looking hut to mount on the chicken leg. And now that I've said that, I might actually just do that. I've got a couple big round witch huts that I think would, and then I can just save that as, house, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I got some stuff up there. I've got my UH-1 gunship. I've got my War Master Titan. I've got a Nosferatu Zod. And of course, Sanguinius diving out of the sky with his sword. I've got Motor here. I think I've already showed you guys this, but I got Motor. This is from the scary movie. What was it called? The Ritual, maybe? I think, yeah. Where a group of English guys decide to go walking through the Swedish forest, and they get attacked by one of Loki's children, and that's what he is supposed to be. A Jotun, a child of Loki. So, yeah, when I was digging all my 40K stuff out, I found a bunch of other stuff. So, one of the things I found, and I have sitting next to me, Blackstone, nice, is this. And this, I just opened it, is a Dark Elf Hard Ganeth Executioner's box set. So fantasy. And I didn't get rid of my fantasy armies. I just got rid of all the 40K. I may put those guys together and use them with Mark.
Yeah.
Of course, I got this guy too. I know you guys love that guy.
Looks
you don't even know who it is, do you, Timmy?
Afraid. I'm trying to remember because I know you're talking about this guy before. I think because
that is Hastur, the King in Yellow.
Oh, okay. No, never mind.
He lives in the city of Carcosa by the Lake of Hali. In theory. Whereas this big red son of a bitch is Nyarlathotep. And this is called the Red Tongue of Nyarlathotep. This guy right here is an asshole. And he hates humanity. He actively works to destroy humans. He's not a fan at all. If Lovecraft had anything that you could literally say was like the devil, it would be Nyarlathotep. He's the one that makes the deals with witches and all that shit. You got the Dark Elf army too, bro? Hell yeah, kindred spirits over here. I've got about 5,000 or 6,000 points. I just recently, and by recently I mean like maybe 10 years ago, replaced all of my stupid Lizard Cow Cold One Riders with the new ones. Well, I've been collecting these miniatures since for like 25 years, man. 25 years at least. Just a little here and a little there. Of course, my wife, she helps feed my addiction. So there's that, you know.
I had to hide one of my miniatures that I still haven't put together.
Yeah, my wife for our anniversary got me at least one or two boxes of stuff from War Games Atlantic.
Yeah, well, my
I think
nephew,
she got me the Tribal Savages and the Lizard, the Serpent Men.
seen the box of the Canis Rex, and he's like,
Uh,
robot, and he wants to take it and play with the play with it.
and you know what's going to happen if I did get those Serpent Men when they get here?
What's that?
I'm going to take these cheap ass bones, buy these for like $2 a piece, Nagaras or whatever they're supposed to be, and I'm going to cut the whole freaking top off of them,
Hmm.
save the tail, and then build the torso, arm, weapon, everything like that out of the Serpent Man box. Because the Serpent Men that come in a box, they actually have like really cool equipment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they look a lot more. They look way better than these fuckers. That's all I'm saying. Excuse my language, guys. I've been cursing a lot more than I normally do. I don't know why. But so, yeah, anyway, that's definitely a thing that I am going to do. And I may even buy some more of those Bones Reaper Nagara things. Okay, see, now I'm jealous of that, though. 5,000 points of Chaos Dwarves. Chaos Dwarves are so cool. I've got probably a couple thousand points. Right up there, you can't see obviously, but there's a unit of Chaos Dwarf warriors and a unit of hobgoblins. And the unit of hobgoblins has some backstabbers in it, the assassins. Then of course I got this bad boy. Come on, we all love these. Yeah. That is a Cataphract X1. And this is an actual hero mech named Ilya Murmets. That's why it's painted the way it is. This is the Ilya Murmets. And Ilya Murmets was a hero from Russian mythology. So, you know. But Chaos Dwarves were so awesome, man, with all the artillery. And the Bull Centaurs were freaking just great. You could fill the unit of Black Orcs with them, which was a little OP. I mean, the Hobgoblins were your chaff troops, but oh, and of course, back in the day, the blunderbuss guys. Oh my god, because you just drew a line straight out from the unit, like 12 inches, and everything in there was just possibly a target, and it was just like, wow, you know, walk up and give them the musket fire right in the face. It was really cool, really cool. They were a really cool army.
It sounds like it. It sounds like my shotgun group that I like talking about.
That's basically what they were because they weren't carrying muskets. They were carrying these big freaking blunderbusses.
Yeah.
So it was like, and they just shoved whatever they shoved in them. And if they got within a certain range of you, it was just like, boom, you know.
Yeah.
And then being dwarves, they're tougher than shit. But being dwarves that have turned to a chaos god, half shut, the god of smoke and fire, whatever his name is, they could have sorcerers. So they were dwarves that could have magic. And they also, like the other dwarves, whereas most of the 40K world is maybe starting to hit the Renaissance era, these bastards are firmly in the freaking steam era. You know, the steam powered everything. You know, like in I have a Chaos Dwarf fleet for Mana War, and like all of their shit is steam powered, paddle driven, with just giant cannons. And that's kind of their thing, man. That's what they do. They just kind of cruise around and get down, get down, get down. Get down, get down. Dun, 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 dun. Right? Jungle Boogie. Jungle Boogie. Yeah, those black orcs, man. You know who I got in my orc and goblin army, which in the new old world, you're not allowed to use him as him, but I've got Grimgor Ironhide backed up by his unit of black orcs, and that's my actual command unit. And oh man, Grimgor, giant ass orc, and he's got like a big ass axe, and in the other hand, he's got the head of an actual Imperial Elector Count that he killed. Because Grimgor is maybe one of the strongest heroes in the game. You know, maybe old school Nagash could handle him. You know, there might be a couple guys, but I don't know. No one in the Dark Elf army could handle him. Maybe Malakath on the Black Dragon, but if it's just Malakath on foot, yeah, it ain't gonna work. I mean, that guy is a monster. And he just goes around killing everything. That is what he does. But so my horses came in today, Tim.
Nice.
Yeah, you know how I talked about I upgraded all the figures for that Agricola game?
Yep.
Well, my horses came in, so now all of the animals are upgraded. You got him not? Yeah, you know what? I've got 4 copies of. Do I have one available? I don't see him. I have 4 copies of the big ass orc with the goblin shaman sitting on his shoulder that came in the collector's edition of Warhammer Online. Because when that game released, I bought 4 collector's editions, one for me, one for my wife, one for my mom, and one for my brother. And you know, so I got the miniatures. And I don't know if they ever added him to an army list or not, but it's just a big freaking orc with a goblin shaman riding on it. This is so weird. Look at this. Okay. Yeah, Jungle Boogie. So I've painted one of those up, and I've got the rest of them still kind of hanging out in the freaking clamshells that came in. Like the guy that comes to buy the 40K stuff, he was kind of freaking when I took pictures because there was a Craft World Eldar fighter bomber still in the shrink wrap. 2 boxes of Death Core still in shrink wrap. 2 boxes of the Zions, whatever, still in the shrink wrap. A whole Dark Eldar Let's Start Playing kit still in the shrink wrap. Because, you know, back in the day, I would get a mood and be like, I think I'll start a Dark Eldar army. And I'd buy a bunch of it. And then I'd still be working on whatever I was working on, right? So then that Eldar stuff has been sitting out there for years and years. So yeah, I told him $1,000 you can get all of it. And he was like, hell yeah. So now, is it worth probably 3 or 4 times that? Yes. Do I care? No. Because I just want to get that shit out of my garage at this point. You know what I mean? And the guy I'm selling to is a good guy, and he'll have a lot of fun with it, or he might even resell some of it. Because I told him, you might be able to resell a lot of this stuff. And if you do, good luck to you, because I am not interested in it. I'm done. I've had enough. So, oh, you've got him painted. Nice. See, Monday is always a weird day for me to stream. It's weird because it's the day that I've set aside that I 100% am going to stream, but it's also the day that half the people that I normally hang out with on stream are playing games. So,
Oh yeah, I got one tonight. Hopefully.
see what I mean? It's like I set myself up for failure. Maybe I should
I mean, mine's late enough where I can be on here with you and then go to that game.
maybe I should go somewhere else or some other day. I stream every other day though, so usually I take breaks.
Yeah. I get to say I might actually was I close on this one to leveling up? I can't remember. I know I'm not.
Yeah, that's
now
what I'm talking about, Steven. I own 4 of him. It's a big freaking orc, and he's got a big axe, and he's got a goblin shaman sitting on his shoulder. And I've only painted one of them up, but yeah, I got them. Oh, by the way, guys, I finally finished a lot of the detail on this. I need to shade the teeth on the vines, but this is kind of, let me tilt it forward. This is kind of where I'm at with this guy. So, and I'm leaving him slimy. He's staying that slimy look.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Zargon's supposed to be a slimy little bastard, so.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Let me see here. Because I think my cleric is about to level up and probably will up. 6.
Nice. Hey, Humphrey, how you doing, brother? That's good. That's good. I mean, Hungar's cleric finally hit level 5 last night. I mean, but in I don't know what
yeah, definitely.
you're playing, but in Hyperborea,
Dragon
cleric's
Slayer.
level fast.
Dragon Slayer.
So cleric's level fast.
Fair enough, I guess.
All right, Mike. Thank you. Yeah, so basically the cleric and the thieves are all level 5. And everyone else is either like level 4 or level 3. Like the warlock, the berserker, the witch.
Yeah.
They're still level 3 because they take a lot of XP to level up.
My cleric has already gotten like 23,171 experience out of 27,600 experience.
Yeah, I think Hungar hit 16,000 and change, 17,000 or something. I forget. I know the warlock hit 12K exactly, which was exactly enough for him to level.
I'm gonna have to try to convince the party though to stay in the dungeon and actually try to gain more experience, because we got like shellacked at the beginning of this fight, or dungeon.
Right.
And I mean, I did use up a little bit of my resources, but I still got like 4 or 5 healing spells ready, and we're not in that.
That's what Hungar's argument is. He's always like, guys, I still got a ton of healing spells. We don't got to go back.
Yeah.
And the group's like, no, we're going back. He's like, damn it.
Damn it. Even our dwarf, who I think is usually a bit reckless sometimes, is like, we should move back. And I'm like, what? We didn't do much. We gotta go through. Come on. If we leave, we're just gonna have them set up another ambush, and then the same thing will happen again.
Yeah, the our good buddy the dwarf tried to convince the berserker to leave the rest of the group behind and just the 2 of them go kill stuff. Because he's like, between your bear form and your berserk and my healing, we can kill about anything we run into. Now, I'm not going to say whether that's true or not, but that was his thought.
I mean, it might be true for some things, probably not everything.
Right. So, and if she had wanted to agree to do it, I would have let her too. I'd been like, well, there you go then.
I guess we're gonna have a duo here for a little bit.
Yeah, gonna have the dynamic duo running around. But she said no. But yeah, what happened last night, which I already told you, I think, is they got whacked by a specter. And it hit the fighter in the group, the warlock, which is a fighter mage. And it rolled double fours for its con drain, which meant he went from like 14 con to 6. He was in trouble. He was not having a good time.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, there was no good times being had by anybody at that point. They did. It was sad because the wizard ran up and like hit him with the hand axe because they're desperately fighting. And he's like, I rolled a nat 20 with the hand axe. And I'm like, nice. Is it magical? And he said, no. And I said, well, then it does nothing. And he was like, what? I'm like, this thing is immune to mundane weapons, bro. He's like, damn it.
So I'd
probably. And he's a cryomancer. Guess what? Specters are also immune to
ice,
cold damage.
Yep, I thought so.
So he was just like, WTF,
It's like I can't do anything. I'm useless in this fight.
Yeah,
I know that feeling. And then,
but the Spartan, so the fighter who lost all the con, he was still stabbing the shit out of that thing with his spear, even though he had, I think, maybe 11 hit points total.
That makes me think, though, would I have to have like at least 1 point, one of my points into the Chrome the Defender +3 to hurt that Spectre, or does it count as a naturally magical weapon no matter what?
If it's a plus weapon, it's magic.
Even if the plus is on your defense instead of its attack?
Well, the thing with the Defender is you can use it for both.
Yeah, I know, but that's just it. Do I have to have like at least 1 point as
no,
it's
enchanted.
Okay.
You could have a sword that has no bonus, but is still enchanted, and it still counts as an enchanted weapon, unless the monster specifically says must have a weapon with a plus greater than.
Okay.
And there are monsters out there that absolutely do say can't even be affected by first +1 weapon.
Fair enough.
Hopefully you don't run into a bunch of that. But the Spectre just needs enchanted weapons.
I at least have like a +3 if I need it. It just means I have no extra defense, which would put me at a -1 instead of a -4.
Well, I mean, a -4 armor class. That would mean the Spectre would need a base 23 to hit you, but he gets +7 to hit.
Yeah.
So he needs a 14 with that 23.
That comes to worse. I could also use the one item I have and make add 2 to my AC, which means -6.
What was crazy is Hungar's got this drinking horn that is always full of mead. But one time and only one time, you can give the drink in it to a dead person. And if they make their system shock, they come back to life, right?
Well,
so Hungar's brilliant idea was to kill the warlock and then bring him back to life, and he would have all of his con back. Yeah, everybody was like, nah, I don't think we're going to do that. So he was like, damn it.
No killing the party members, please.
Like, so, yeah.
I get the idea, but yeah, it's probably better to have the resurrection ready than to use it on something because somebody
else. The thing Hungar, I don't think, didn't know or think of, though, is every time you get rezzed, your con goes down by 1 permanently.
Ah, that too.
So, I mean, he was trying to keep them in the adventure because everybody who had lost con was like, we need to get out of here.
Yeah.
But, you know, so in the end, the party won out and they went back and spent all their money on, you know, rooms at the tavern and food because they have to be there for 8 days in order for the warrior to get all of his con back. And the berserker had lost con too. So, you know, basically both the high hit point fighter types were down con. There we go. Putting a shade on my blimmies. A little bit of Reichland flesh shade. That's what we're talking about. And then I'll go back and I'll do their weapons and stuff. Be nice. So we meet again, Stephen Kennedy. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, 7. So
now I looked through the book and I don't know if it's in there and I just can't find it. And I even did web searches. Apparently, as far as I can find, there is no spell that a cleric has in Hyperborea that allows him to return Constitution.
oof.
Both Hungar and I were looking for that, like a restoration spell. I'm wondering if maybe the straight up high level heal spell could do it, but I don't even know if that does it.
Who knows?
I didn't read it.
Maybe you just have to rest up or something else. Who knows how you get rid of that?
Yeah, so basically, according to the monster entry, it just says you have to have 1 day of complete rest for every point that you lost. And that's basically it.
Have fun.
So Steven or anyone else who plays Hyperborea, if I'm wrong about that, if I'm missing something, let me know.
Hopefully the party's ready to just spend a lot of days in town.
Well, I use the Hyperborean sword and sorcery random thing table. So depending what the players do, they can choose whether they want to roll on this table. And it represents pretty much what they get into while they're in town.
So it's like
the last time the one lady got into a duel.
Yeah.
For calling a guy's junk small. And but there's good stuff too. Like they win at gambling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
it's a carousing roll, huh?
Yeah, it's a carousing table, and they will have, well, the guys who are recovering Constitution won't have.
We have a guy who keeps
up to 8 days if they want to roll on that table.
We have a guy in our group that does the carousing, and he keeps getting the worst things happen to him every time when he carouses. Like,
yeah,
he got this like really cool new magical sword and everything. He goes carousing, loses it, gets beat up, and like
beat him up and took his sword.
Yeah, they guys beat him up, took his sword, and ran off.
Yeah. So we'll see who's brave and who wants to go carousing and who wants to hide in their room.
He's like, I want to go chase them down. And he's like, you don't know where they went. You were drunk. It's like, damn it.
That's the thing. Yeah. When it happens, you're drunk. So what are you actually going to do about it? Because you're pissed drunk and somebody robs you and you don't even can hardly see straight. Like, nah. That's not how this shit's gonna work. So,
yeah, boy, he was so mad. Yeah, like...
Now I do have some plans with some of these executioners, and that is basically, I have noticed that a lot of the artwork in Hyperborean, the warriors have these really tall conical helmets. So I might actually throw like a Dark Eldar helmet, the big conical helmet on some of these guys. Because if you go through the book, which I have right here, a lot of the times when it shows the warriors, they're wearing those really tall pink peaked helmets. And I'm wondering if that's like a Hyperborean thing, like specifically the Hyperboreans. I don't know. What I do know is it's
Oh,
cool.
dang.
What?
Look at what Steve's selling.
Well, you know who likes 1E over here? Or RuneQuest, I mean.
I don't know about. Well, Winnie wouldn't be bad. I don't think. I think that one's another good one. I know more about third edition of RuneQuest though.
Yeah, RuneQuest. I've ran RuneQuest. See, and here we are. And yes, this is just one of them. You look at the guy in the back, right? That you can only see the back. Look how pointy that helmet is.
It is a pretty pointy helmet.
And that is a Hyperborean.
Yeah.
You can tell by how pale he is. Like his skin is basically albino. So every time they show like an actual Hyperborean warrior, they always got that really tall, kind of peaked helmet. So we'll see. Yeah, I think the Dark Elf helmets will work good, and I heaven knows I don't need any more Harganeth executioners because I've got a shit ton, like 20 metal ones, and the metal ones I have are all the old school ones with two-handed swords. These ones come with halberds because apparently you can also make them blackguards of Nagarond or whatever. So this is actually kind of a multi-use kit. But yeah, I like the helmets, and I think I may end up using some of those for I like the fact that this head or this there's a like a left hand and it's just got a severed head hanging out of it. See, I could take that head right off and just glue it to something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe take the whole hand off. I wonder if there's more like that. Okay, drum player.
I think I'm gonna have to go though and find something to eat. I'll see you.
I will see you later, homie. Yeah. Yeah, I was so out of Warhammer for a while that I didn't even know they had released Witch Elves and these guys and whatever in plastic. So I still was using my my old school metal, and then I bought some of the plastics to work them in. But honestly, I mean, now the one thing I've got a little bit of, and I've High Elf helmets might be better. I have a box of Phoenix Guard. They're really pointed, but they've got the wings. So I was looking at them though. I've got a whole box of Phoenix Guard. And I bought them specifically to use for something else. So, you know what I mean? I wasn't buying them for Warhammer. I was buying them for Oathmark, I think. To make like line breakers or some shit like that. I think that's why I bought these guys, was I wanted to make some line breakers for my Oathmark Elf Army. And even though I did buy a lot of the actual, yeah, I could make archers out of them. I bought multiple boxes of the Oathmark elves, the actual North Star elves, but I do still use some of my dark elves with it. And, you know, so I use my dark elf sorceress for my wizard in Oathmark. And I use, what's his name? Malik Demonbane or whatever. Malice Demonbane. Anyway, whatever his name is, I use him as my general a lot of times. You know, even on a cold, he's even on a cold one, and I'm like, I don't care. You know, it's heavy cavalry. It doesn't say it has to be a horse. It's just heavy cavalry. So there you go. Now, in actual Warhammer, I can tell you right now, my favorite unit in my Dark Elf army was my Dark Riders. I loved my Dark Riders, man. And they loved me. Those Dark Riders always worked out great. Oh, Archer helmets. I might actually have some of those around. Yeah, look at this. You mentioned Archer helmets. Box right here. I was going through the other day. And lo and behold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Lo and behold, 5 really old school Eldar. And of course, this guy, super cool people will recognize this guy. Because he came for a specific game. And super cool people will know who that is too. Or what that is, I should say. So let's see. How many elf archers do I have? Versus do I want to actually start butchering these 30-year-old models? Not sure. Might have to think about that. Hey, Iron Man, how you doing? And then I got this guy right here too. Oh yeah. Yeah, this box I was going through the other day, it turns out it's got like, you know, just tons of old not 40, but fantasy stuff. Specifically Mordheim. A lot of Mordheim stuff in here. So, yep, I've even got the plastic berserkers that came in that Battle for Skull Pass. Because, and here's one of the warriors from the Battle for Skull Pass. Because when that set came out, I bought 5 starter boxes. Battle for Skull Pass, I went. Well, they were selling them at this one store for $90 a piece. So every payday, every 2 weeks, I went in and bought a box, took them home, built them, started painting them. And that's why I got rid of the dwarves, unfortunately. But see, I still got a bunch of these laying around, these terrain pieces. I've got the dwarf merchant wagon or whatever it is. Got a bunch of those. But yeah, I kind of got rid of the dwarf army, but I kept my goblins. So I've got a shit ton of goblins, let me tell you. Oh, the one I showed you is not the Reaper Witch Hunter. That's the 40k Witch Hunter. That's actually a named character. You see, I had the Hammer of Sigmar and then the sword. Yeah, he's a named character. I do have the Reaper one in that box, though, I believe. And yeah, here is the Reaper one. And he had like a witch head in his hand. But I cut the head off, and I shaved the pistols off, and I gave him like a dagger. And then this guy was I believe he might have been a Mordheim character. So you see how he's got the hammer, and the hammer's got the whole decoration on it, Sigmar and everything. So yeah. Oh, he's even a Slaughter-based figure too. So I've gotten the better part of, or actually, I've got a whole. I have a whole Mordheim gang in here. Like between like all of the, like we got this guy, he's got a musket, so you know, a rifleman, and we got a guy with a blunderbuss, a guy with a pistol and a sword, a guy with a pistol and a cutlass. So we got a guy with a crossbow. So yeah, I've got pretty much a Mordheim gang in here. But now I play Frostgrave. I'll look. You could be right then. I could be wrong. You could be right. I could be crazy. I mean, I don't know enough about it for real that I would argue the point. I mean, I always thought he was, but if he's not, he's not. I think that box though, I think that was the box of some of the miniatures that I was using when I was running Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. You know, some of those might actually have been player characters. No, argue away. Argue away. Don't let me be wrong. You know, trying to be good mannered. I mean, because then at some other point, I'm just going to make an ass out of myself to someone who maybe don't even like me. You know, so, you know, bros keep each other in check. Make sure they know what they're talking about. I got no problem with that. All right. All right. Trying to make sure this don't puddle up or pull up or anything too bad. There we go. But now I know this is Reaper. I just rebased it and put some mud on it so that would look like it was near the base. But this is an old school Reaper Etten. The Warhammer Quest Witch Hunter. He has a pistol saber combo. You may be entirely correct, my good man. You may be entirely correct. You know what? I won't think about it after, you know, I get done talking to you later anyway. I'm going to, around 8 o'clock, I'm going to play some Agricola with the wife, and I won't care either way, really. It's just another miniature in a box that I've got sitting here. I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I use for my Hyperborea game, and the word use very lightly, but every time I play Hyperborea, I use one of these kind of partition boxes, but I use the one that's twice as big, and there's 6 of them, and that's what I keep all the monsters in. 6 of them. One of them is nothing but terrain. The whole box is nothing but terrain. So, like treasure chests and fireplaces and fire pits and ruined walls and whatever, you know. And then I've organized the other ones. So I've got one that's full of orcs and apes and stuff like that. And then I've got one that's full of like all the aquatic monsters. And then I've got one that's full of gnolls and hyenas and all kinds of other things, demons. I don't use 99.9% of the miniatures. So the new thing I do is when I figure out what the game group wants to do, I figure out which box the miniatures are in that they might face. And then the other boxes I stack up and I put the computer on the top with the camera pointing down so that my brother who plays online with us through Discord can actually see the table and some of the people at it. And so far, he's really, really appreciated that, you know, because then he, you know, when I'm describing where everyone is, he can actually see where his character is. So I'm kind of doing it the way Bruce does it, is basically what I'm saying. I'm pretty much just doing it the way Bruce does. And it's been working out pretty well, you know. I know a couple people dropped in on when I was running the game and then dropped immediately out. Like one night Timmy dropped in and dropped out. One night Bruce dropped in. And like as soon as they realized we were playing a game, they dropped out. Which, you know, I told them both is like you could, I mean, as long as you don't interrupt anything, I wouldn't really care. I mean, you know, if you talk too much, I might have to mute you because I'm doing whatever. But if you wanted to just hop in and listen at my group be a bunch of knuckleheads and me trying to deal with it, then, you know, I don't really give a shit too much about it. I would actually live stream my game, except a lot of the people I game with can't be seen on camera for job reasons, you know. Otherwise, I'd live stream the game, but yeah. And not because they're spies or anything like that, just, you know, people who work for corporations or public relations and stuff like that. They can't be out there because what happens then, and this has happened when, you know, my brother joking around calls me the N word, not with the hard R. And then somebody else might get offended and try to get somebody fired when the fact of the matter is that's been a term of endearment between my brother and I since we were like 15 or 16 years old. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to run around and actually start calling, you know, any folk that because I don't want issues, but when it's just me and my brother bullshitting around, yeah, I'll let him do that. You know, because I just don't worry about it that much, you know. But a lot of people, unfortunately, because we live in that day and age, they got to worry about it. So sucks. Yeah, these guys are looking pretty cool. I like the tanned flesh too. I like that they're a little darker. Uh-oh. Whatever my wife is watching, somebody just threatened to throw somebody out a window. Just a little light defenestration between friends, apparently. See, this is the boss right here. You can tell he's the boss because he's actually wearing armor. He's got like a chainmail skirt on, and he's got that shoulder piece. He's got like a better sword. He's got somebody's severed head hanging off his belt. Yeah. He's the boss. All right. All right, guys. Let's paint their crackly butts. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking about it. Or I might look at Bruce Springsteen. Yeah, right. I might just take the Phoenix Guard that aren't put together and see how hard it would be to remove the fancy wing from the helmet, or if they've got one without the wing, and just see what I can do with that, just for no other reason than to preserve the 30-year-old, third or fourth edition, whichever edition elves. Not that I'm ever probably going to use them in any game. I mean, if I were, because I've already got a huge elf army done up. The only way they would get used is I can't even imagine. Because he's the boss, right? That's right. So I gotta name that. I gotta name that one Blimmy Bruce Springsteen. And baby, he was born to run. Uh-oh. Wow. So the thing with these blimmies, and I know I've told you that, guys, this before, is their hands are way bigger than your standard 32 millimeter model hands, but they're the exact size of orcs. So here is a blimmy with a orc halberd. Now, I might actually cut the bits off where it looks like they riveted extra stuff to the blade. Put my hair down. I might get rid of that, but otherwise, yeah, it's a good match. So a lot of the weapons that my blimmies are carrying, the hands are from orcs. So, and then the other thing, here's here's one of the Hyperborea player character sheets that the guys use. I'd made them with the fillable player sheet, but I printed out like 10 of the blank ones so that they can actually rewrite their characters and stuff, because it's getting to be a pain in the ass with the whole trying to write your fighting ability down, but there's already like a 1 there, so you're like crossing the 1 out and trying to put the 3 in or whatever. And so I don't know if it's this way with you guys, but at my table every couple months everybody seems to need to rewrite their character, right? To copy their character on a new sheet, I should say. Because in the course of a few months, they will take notes on their sheet, spill stuff on their sheet, do whatever they do. And then eventually it's like, oh, I need to rewrite my character because, and then they'll write it and I'll check it and make sure everything's right. And then boom, off we go again. Yeah, I got to admit to you, Stephen Kennedy, that I have never in my entire life, not one time, ever liked Bruce Springsteen. That's not a new thing, and it's not based on politics or anything like that. I just don't like it. I don't like the way he sounds. I don't like nothing about it. I think the song that I think they overplayed this song, and this is why I don't like him, is Hungry Heart. Like Hungry Heart, they played that song so much, and it's literally Bruce Springsteen singing about being a monumental ass, just being a horrible person, and then justifying it with everyone's got a hungry heart. It's like, no, everyone doesn't abandon their wife and kids, and then try to say it's a hungry heart. It's like, you gave your word, you piece of shit, and then you broke it. So now I don't like you or anything to do with you. I think you are a horrible human being. So that's what you can do with your hungry heart. Because those kind of excuses don't buy any sort of leeway with me, So that whole got a wife and kids in Baltimore, Jack. I went out for a ride and I never went back. See, that's the kind of shit you keep secret. You don't sing about, you don't brag about the fact that you abandon your freaking family. See, Tom Petty, I have to like. He was born in Gainesville. It's like a rule: if you live in Florida, you have to like Tom Petty, or else, you'll get in trouble. Like the governor will come and like drag you out in your front yard and spank you or something. Last thing I want is like DeSantis showing up with a chip on his shoulder. You know what I'm saying? But I'll tell you this, Mr. Kennedy, my sister, my beloved younger sister, she hated Tom Petty so much that his name become the word she used for anyone she didn't like. Yeah, you just got to rewrite them every now and then, don't you, Mike? So, like, I could be sitting in the house listening to whatever it is. It don't matter. And if she come walking in and whatever I was listening to was something she didn't like, she'd look me right in the face and be like, "Where are you listening to? Tom Petty?" She knew it wasn't Tom Petty. That's just, my sister was a smartass. That's what it was. And she hated Tom Petty. God. And I never got it because like Tom Petty musically is one of the least offensive, most wonder bread writers of all time. It's like, well, you Tom Petty's on, and what do you hear? There goes my girl, or and I'm free, free falling, and all that kind of shit. It's like, but she did not like him, boy. She freaking hated him. I don't know if she hated him personally, but she did not like any of his music. That I do know. But she was more of a Led Zeppelin kind of girl. That was really her thing, which so was I. So. But she hated Pink Floyd too, and I absolutely love Pink Floyd. So that was another bone of contention between my little sister and me. Uh, the whole her hating Pink Floyd and me being like, how can you hate Pink Floyd? It's like, listen to this shit, man. This is great. Nope. Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Yep. A dog day. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I mean, when I used to not stream and I would just sit in there and listen to music and paint, I would just put on either the Cars or Stilly Dan. I mean, I'd mix it up occasionally, but those were my two go-tos most of the time. I rarely do you meet people who just don't like the Cars. You know, I'm sure they're out there. One of you might even say you don't like the Cars, but that will make you rare. Most people are like, yeah, the Cars are all right. You know, they're not a band that a lot of people have like super strong emotions about. It's like, and that makes them the perfect band to put on when you're just doing other stuff. Because, you're just sitting there and they're playing and you're just doing your thing. And Stilly Dan for me is like that. I like Gary Rafferty quite a bit. I mean, yeah. I'll listen to the Doobie Brothers, especially if it's a song with like Michael McDonald. I listen to Criss Cross. That's my painting music because when I'm painting, I don't want anything too hype. You know what I mean? So when I'm painting, I'm generally not jamming Kill 'Em All or some shit like that. So yeah, the Cars, it's like now I honestly I like most of their early stuff. And I used to collect vinyl. My favorite Cars album was the one that had like the car with the chick on the album cover. Yeah, that was a good one. So yeah, I like moving and audio. I like just what I needed. I mean, they just had a ton of good songs. I guess you're just what I needed. I needed someone to please. All right. All right. All right. Yep. And then pretty much I like about everything post-punk. And so, you know, The Cure, Two-Way Army, uh, Echo and the Bunnymen, all of that kind of stuff I get down with quite a bit. And then I also listen to quite a bit of Soviet post-punk as well. So like Kino, Nazar, um, stuff like that. He can go dancing in the dark. Look at you guys. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, see, Steven, you and Shadow would be best friends. That's Shadow. Freaking. Which I really can't say anything because Burning for You. I'm living for giving the devil his due. Dun, dun. And I'm burning, I'm burning, I'm burning for you. Yeah, I suck at singing, guys. You already know that, but that was the thing I did at the time. Uh-oh. Oh, I'm back. Yep, that's Shadow's jam right there, man. It's a BOC. And I have to admit, Psychic War, Burning for You, Godzilla, all of them, you know. They now I'll tell you a band, and I bet you know it, Steven, because I don't know why I think you would know it, but I bet you do. And it's Nazareth. I used to have the Nazareth CD, Hair of the Dog. Oh my God. Yeah. Love Hurts, which is a remake, I think. Somebody did it before they did it, but I don't care, man. That song. Yeah. Love hurts. Love hurts. Yeah, that's a good song. Yep, Hair of the Dog, baby. Had like a dragon on it or something on the cover. I don't know if that's a dragon or what that was. But. And then, of course, because you're not allowed to be my generation and not like Meatloaf. Let's be honest. It's like if you're in your 50s, you and I both know you like Meatloaf. Don't even try. You've probably sang freaking I Won't Do That. You know, I'd do anything for love, right along with the radio, just like the rest of us did. Because it's just, that's just a thing, man. Montrose. Yeah, that's just a thing, though, with Meatloaf, the whole. And I would do anything for love. I'd run right into hell and back. Dun, dun. I would do anything for love. And that's a fact. I'll never. I look right now so fine. So fine. I would do anything for love. I won't do that. I won't do that. Yeah. I mean, Bat Out of Hell was just a great album. And then he was in Rocky Horror Picture Show, and he was really good in that as Eddie. I mean, oh, where he's like the vampire and he's hiding out, and like the cops are coming to get him and shit like that. Yeah. And also, it was Paradise by the Dashboard Light, where he's trying to talk the chick into going all the way. And in the middle of the song, it busts out that wild disco bass groove. And it's like the freaking baseball commentators, you know, here he comes. He's coming around the bend. Is he? Oh, he's safe. He's safe at second, you know, and it's just going on. Candy-O. See, when you say candy, the first thing that comes to my mind is Iggy Pop. I start thinking, candy, 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 I can't let you go. Right? Or The Passenger. Yeah, some old Iggy Pop. We're gonna take a ride. Which I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, that The Passenger was about heroin. I'm pretty sure he was singing about looking for some junk, you know, because but yeah. Candy was probably also about junk, if we're honest. Turns out that I think about most of Ronnie Montrose. Yes, Sammy Hagar was good, but I didn't care for most of his stuff with and I think it's just because, you know, I just got used to Van Halen with Diamond Dave. And I think that no matter who they brought in, whether it was Sammy Hagar, it didn't matter. They could have brought Elvis back from the dead. I don't think it would have mattered. You know what I mean? Just because I'd grown up with Diamond Dave, you know? So for me, Van Halen was Diamond Dave, right? So I think Sammy Hagar gets a lot of bad rap for being the guy that was willing to step in to those shoes. And then, of course, the music's going to be totally different. And people are mad. They're like, what is this? This isn't, you know, it's like, well, they can't keep doing what they did. 1984 ain't coming back, right? I mean, they're grown now. They're 50 years old. They got Sammy Hagar. You know, David Lee Roth is being a paramedic out in freaking California someplace. Yeah, so it's like, hey, what's up, Hungar? That's what always kind of, I'm not saying I like a lot of the bands, but I will defend them a little bit when people are like when I hear people saying, oh, so and so sold out, they suck now. And I'm always like, dude, they're 50 years old. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I'm not trying to defend Metallica's later shit. I mean, Saint Anger is garbage, I will admit, but a bunch of 55-year-old millionaires are not going to crank out Kill 'Em All. I'm sorry. That's just not going to happen, right? Like the hunger, the rage, that's gone now. How can you be full of hunger and rage when you live in a multimillionaire house in a gated community with a freaking hot ass wife and everything you want, you know? Yeah, the stuff that makes you a good metal band is gone. It's the same with punk. You know, punk is good, but once the punk artists actually make it and get famous, they're pretty much done. It's pretty much over. because in order to make good punk rock, you got to be poor and pissed off at the system. You know, by the time you're successful, you're not pissed off at the system. You're pissed off that your mutual funds aren't returning the way you want it. That's basically it. You know, it's like what's his name was. I think he was called Sick Boy in Train Spotting. Said the universal rule of things, which is at one point in your life you got it, and then at another point of your life you don't. And that's just the way it is. Yeah. By the time they're rich and wealthy and everything like that, the thing that made them whatever they were is gone. And it ain't come back. Hold on, Doc. I got super glue and green stuff all over my damn skin. I get you, brother.
Hey, man, what's going on?
Not much. How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. Just got back from work, and I'm pissed off at drive-thru.
What drive-thru do to you?
I just put up a new game yesterday, right? And it's up for a couple hours, and I sold 6 copies in like the first 2 hours. So it was like,
Nice.
cool. And then all of a sudden, it got reset to private on me, and it won't go back. So I just had to write them like a letter, like, what the hell is going on here? It's not on my like publisher list. It's like disappeared.
You know,
So
they did that to me too. As a result, I still have like 95 cents in my drive-thru account. Because I had sold, I guess, about 13 copies of my game, and then it just vanished. And I was just like, and I sent them a letter, and when they eventually came back, they're like, yeah, we don't know what's going on. And I'm like, well, I don't either, man. So that's not good.
Yeah. The difference is,
what Will Ferrell costume should I wear to a Will Ferrell party? Oh man, my immediate go-to is the cowbell guy. So you gotta get a shirt that's way too small and a cowbell and maybe a fro wig and just roll in there. Originally, little known fact, when they originally shot that skit, Will Ferrell was wearing a normal shirt and the skit really wasn't working. Like they're saying, yeah, it's just not that funny, right? So in between takes or practices, Will Ferrell went into the costume department and found like the smallest shirt he could find and put it on. So his guts all hanging out the bottom and like just, and for some reason that turned the whole skit around. People were just like, oh shit, yeah, look at this guy. So love him or hate him, I mean, Will Ferrell definitely does have a sense for what's comedic.
They should have actually gotten Blue Oyster Cult to show up. That would have been awesome.
It would have been funny if it was just Blue Oyster Cult standing in there. I had to have a talk with my wife the other day. It was funny talk. I was listening to Africa by Toto, and she's like, did they ever have any other songs? Toto? Really? I was like, well, you know, Hold the Line. They were the band for Michael Jackson and Thriller. You know, yeah, they did some stuff.
Rosanna was big.
Rosanna. Yeah, man.
They did the soundtrack for the David Lynch Dune movie.
They did do the soundtrack for David Lynch's Dune. Yeah, the brown afro wig, a super tight shirt that if you have a gut, it lets your gut hang out, and then that freaking cowbell, and just roll in there like you own the whole place. That would be my advice. I mean, the only other thing I can think of for Will Ferrell would be you'd have to try to get your hands on like a NASCAR suit and a fro and like roll in there as like Ricky Bobby or some shit. You know? Well, no, you could get the elf suit and a fro.
That would work.
Yeah, because he was the elf. I'm trying to think of all the roles he were where it would actually be interesting to actually see him do a thing. And I'm having a hard time.
Yeah, I mean, those are the ones that where it's going to be obvious what you're doing. Otherwise, it's just you're just wearing whatever.
Yeah, Christopher Walken
Christopher Walken is the man.
made that skit. He was just like, I mean, when he's like, look, my name is Bruce Dickinson, and I put my pants on the same as you, one leg at a time. But when my pants are on, I make gold records, baby. It's like, okay.
Doc, where in the hell have you been?
I've
Doc
been,
has been busy.
yeah, I think I've been running around being crazy. We're moving soon. All kinds of craziness at work. Just, I've hardly been online lately.
Yeah.
I thought
What's
you
been
didn't
going
love
on?
us anymore.
Oh, of course I do. Don't be silly.
Well, that might still be true. You know, two things can be true at the same time. I mean, he could be busy and still not like you.
Oh, yeah, I see his map is gone.
He said he's moving.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, and by the way, brother, you're a dick.
Why?
Everybody likes me, especially Doc.
I never said they didn't. I just said it's possible they didn't.
It's not possible.
You got the belly for the cow. You're set, dude. Yeah. I love
Hey,
that.
Hardman.
Christopher, listen here, babies. I make gold records. And what I need is some more cowbell. Like really lean into it, explore the space. And he's just banging it right next to that one dude's head. He's just sitting there.
I got a fever.
Got fever. The only cure is more cowbell.
All I know is Bruce Dickinson said he wanted more cowbell, and I want to be doing justice to myself or the band. If I didn't do what Bruce Dickinson said.
And they're all like, you know what, man? You're right. Play that cowbell. Hey, Christopher Walken, probably one of the best hosts Saturday Night Live ever had. And number two is probably Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
Like every time that dude is on Saturday Night Live, it is a frickin'.
Well, they're two people you would expect to do shit like that.
Well, you got Justin Timberlake and Aaron Sandberg or Adam Sandberg or whatever with all that crazy shit they get into.
Dick in a box, mother lover.
Mother lover, yeah. And then Christopher Walken can just do anything. I mean, that guy can do anything he wants. And then number three funniest guy was when Norm Macdonald got called to host Saturday Night Live and did nothing but talk about how they fired him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Either I've gotten way funnier or the show. Well, you'll see.
Yeah, you'll see. They're like, yeah, they fired me for not being funny. And then they called me back to host the show. Fucking.
Well, anything Norm Macdonald did was fantastic.
Yeah. I used to love his late night show when anyone who came on the show that was Jewish, he would tell them that his co-host was a Holocaust denier. And his co-host was Jewish. He's like, why do you keep saying that I am Jewish?
When he was on Conan one time, he looked over at this chick that's on the show with him. He's like, have you ever thrown a dead hooker off a bridge before?
Oh,
and Conan almost fell out of his chair. They called Norm the comedian's comedian.
Yeah. When he's on there with the one chick trying to plug her movie and he's just tearing it apart. He's like, oh no, I'm sure it's got Carrot Top in it. I'm sure it's gonna be fine. God. Yeah. Yeah, he was something. He
That sounds like a
apparently-
lot of commie gobbledygook there.
Yeah. Apparently, I don't know if it's 100% true, but word on the street is he did not like Sarah Silverman.
No.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, he's like, so you get this meddling, attractive woman who sleeps her way into a position and then stands on stage and talks about how much she likes to give head all night. Everyone knew who he was talking about. You know, it was just like, wow.
I like when he's like, I went to a gay pride event the other day and I just saw some old people walking around and said, we're proud of our gay son. And like, I can just imagine you at a water cooler. Yeah, my son, I'm so proud of him.
Hey,
I'm not going to finish it.
you know that joke. It's a funny joke. But the funniest part was when he was on with what's his name? The old guy that did 60 Minutes.
Oh, yeah. Not 60 minutes.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Chairman of the board, exactly. And he told him he was a deeply closeted man. And the guy's like, so are you coming out, Norm? Are you gay? And he said, no, I'm just deeply closeted.
that guy with all the wrinkles and raspy cigarette voice.
Yeah, that had been married like 50 times and been on like the news since like before I was born. And Norm went on there and just messed with him for like the whole time. Just, you know. But anyway. And of course, I have the shirt. It's got a picture of a dog in a doghouse. And it says School of Logic. And that's based on an old Norm joke. Yeah, because she said the name. And Conan's like, let's see you do something with that, you animal. And he's like, I bet bored is spelled B-O-R-E-D. Anyway, though, so we were talking about the game earlier. I have scoured through my player's handbook. I don't believe there is a spell in the game that can regenerate or restore lost constitution.
So
Yeah, I don't remember one.
So he's just down constitution.
No. You gain it back 1 per day of full rest.
Oh, so we got to hang out for a few weeks.
Well, 7 days, 8 days.
Yeah.
That was one of the main ways they killed magic users in AD&D was all the stuff that would lower your constitution on you and age you.
I cannot even imagine what would have happened to the Chiromancer if he'd dropped 8 con. He'd had like 2 con. And in the game, the monster says if your con hits 2, you got to hit the ground. You can't move. You're just too weak to do anything.
I'd have done my plan B.
Let him die?
Yeah.
That's not a plan B. Why would you let him die, though?
Yeah, that's more of a plan
from
Z.
I'd bring him back to life.
But then you just lose more con.
You know, every time you bring someone to life, they permanently lose a point of con.
Yeah, it's better than losing 8 points of con.
Okay, 8 points of con temporarily.
I didn't know it was
permanently.
I didn't know it was temporarily.
Well, you know, you should know because you're a cleric. And as
This
a
is your
cleric,
wheelhouse,
you should
sir.
be knowing this shit. Found a shirt. Yeah, see, that's an awesome costume. Even though I'm having a hard time imagining who woke up one day and was like, you know what? Let's have a costume where we all just show up dressed like Will Ferrell.
Yeah,
I'd be the
is
one
a
that
lot.
gets the freaking fro, shaves my face, and just shows up buck naked. You remember that one? Frank the Tank?
Yeah, freaking old school.
Yeah, you're my boy, Blue. Yeah, just show up with like a skin colored like pantyhose thing over me, so it looks like I'm naked. Maybe put a little fig leaf down there to be tasteful, and just be like, I'm Frank the Tank. My whole thing is getting drunk and running naked down the street. That's what I do.
I'd be the one who showed up with his nose bitten off by a Vietnamese hooker.
That wasn't Will Ferrell, homie. That was John Candy, I'm pretty sure.
No, that was Chris Farley.
Chris Farley, yeah. You're
And we're
right.
just doing movies now.
Yeah.
Dirty. That goes back to Norm with Dirty Work.
Yeah, well, Norm must have. You must have been thinking about Norm when you came up with that.
Yeah.
I got my nose bit off by a Saigon whore. Which that sucks because my biological dad just got one pregnant and had a kid.
That we know of.
That we know of. One that we know of. The possibilities are endless.
You know that old meme where it shows the pictures of the patent white leather shoes, and it says, "If your dad had a pair of shoes like these, you have siblings you don't know about."
Yeah.
Yeah, well, our dad had those shoes.
Yeah. Those damn leather shoes with the pointy toes. And you had to know. It's like, but yeah, we were talking about the whole con loss thing earlier and people running back to the town and you wanting to kill the guy and res him and like, haha, that's funny. Gorilla costumes. Yeah, I was like, yeah, so my brother, he's thinking maybe it's a good idea to kill the guy and res him.
That's a rather extreme
Which
reaction.
would cause him to lose a permanent point of con. And it would be up to me to decide if you resed him, if he came back with full con or not. I mean, I'm not sure how that would play out.
You got the system shock rolls and all this fun shit.
Yeah, there's a possibility he ain't coming back. If he fails that system shock roll, and it's not like, he's got a lot of con. He's got a 6 con at the time you kill him.
Oh, so you got like a good 40% chance of like not making it through the resurrection.
Yeah, you may not come back. You might just be
Hey,
gone.
Cody.
Hey, Cody.
Hey, Cody. So that
Good
is
seeing you,
not
bud.
a good idea. Just because someone in the group loses some con, killing them and trying to resurrect them is not the way to go.
I just wanted to resurrect somebody
Why?
for fun.
It's a one-time use item, bro.
I wanted to do
the
a
mug,
one shot
right?
at one point of people who had been. It was all going to be like a group therapy session for people who got reincarnated as like stupid shit.
Oh yeah, so my centaur could have been there.
I thought that was actually, if you're going to be reincarnated as something, a centaur was kind of cool.
Until you gotta go into a dungeon.
Yes, true. I mean, well, as long as it's 10-foot wide halls, you can go in there. You just take up the whole hall.
Stairs are a pain in the butt for horses.
They are not easy for horses. That is a fact.
And could you imagine a horse trying to go down a spiral staircase?
Yeah, but the difference is your character is smarter than a horse.
Yeah, but still have a hard time going downstairs.
Yeah, but as a smarter than a horse person, you'd probably be able to figure it out, though. See, horses have a hard time going down the stairs because they get off skittery and freak out. You wouldn't do that. One would hope.
No, my luck, I'd get.
Horses are famously stupid.
Yeah.
Any animal that'll let you sit on it till it falls over dead has self-esteem issues.
Yeah, so like a cat would never allow that.
Yeah.
If you climb up on a cat's back, it just lay down. You're like, nah, I'll just stay here until I
Yes.
die.
You need to fuck off now.
Like, I'm good. So, but I mean, I don't know. The game went good. Everybody seemed to be okay with everything.
The game was fun.
Well, here's what's going to happen, though. I already know what's going to happen. Jax is going to get drunk every night that you're in town, which means every night that you're in town, she's going to have to roll on the carousing table. And God only knows what's going to happen. Because that carousing table is just a bitch. You know, she could end up being robbed, murdered in another duel. I mean, and you know she's going to do it because that's what she does.
That is what she does.
So, and someone's already stole that treasure chest you guys left in the room.
In what room?
In the in room where you left it.
We put it in the bank.
No, remember you had two.
No, we had the one that we carried back
Oh, okay.
and put
Never
it in
mind
the
then.
bank.
Never mind then. Forget I said anything. Yes, there is a carousing table. I believe in Hyperborea, it's called like Sword and Sorcery Random Encounters or some shit like that.
Yeah, don't get me started on those.
You download it. It's a free download. It's not actually in the book, but it's a free download. And it's just full of like all of the horrible shit that you can get into.
And she gets into horrible shit, trust me.
And this lady we play with, she lives to get in horrible shit. That is her whole life. There's also a downloadable thing called Zothiqua's Woe, which you can use for critical misses. So if someone rolls a nat 1, you can pop open Zothiqua's Woe and have them roll a die 12. And depending on their class, they'll do something stupid, like hit themselves or hit a friend.
Now I'm gonna bring something up.
Uh-oh.
I like to hawk this also. This is an excellent book. Has a massive carousing section, just all kinds of crazy downtime shit. You can it's
Oh,
system
the new
generic.
one you wrote?
Oh no, this isn't me. This is who did this? Who wrote this thing? Yeah, I found this. This is Courtney Campbell wrote this. Downtime and something French. Domaines, I believe it means domains.
Oh.
I have a question for everybody in the audience and for Doc. Not my brother, because screw him. How often should you be rolling random encounters? Every 2 minutes? Or like every 15 minutes? Like, can your players sit and talk for like a minute and a half without having to worry about a random encounter?
A little heavy on the encounters, are we, James?
I rolled twice in a 4-hour game session.
Yeah,
Twice.
and the 4-hour game sessions that we were playing, we were constantly doing stuff until we sat down and to talk, or until we stopped for 2 minutes to talk about what we're going to do. Should we go down this door? Should we go down this door? Roll random encounter.
Yeah, well, that's when the random encounters show up, is when you're standing still.
Yeah.
For 2 minutes?
You were there for more than 2 minutes. You're making it. You're being away.
You guys should have been more confident. Like, we got a counter check coming up. Maybe we should hold on this.
Yeah, you're being away.
We were not.
You
We
know
were.
you're
See,
being
Cody,
away.
we were not loitering we were discussing what we were going to do for a few minutes.
They were
And-
loitering and yelling at each other at the top of their freaking lungs.
We were not.
I don't remember anyone saying they were whispering.
You're gonna make me say the N-word on accident.
You better not. And not only were you not whispering, you were yelling at each other across the table. And I assume, however you're talking is how your character's talking, unless you tell me otherwise. And you know that. And you know that.
You rolled some encounters, fool.
Yeah, you gotta use your dungeon voice.
I rolled.
Gotta use the dungeon voice.
when they
And
appear
what?
appropriate.
And want to know the worst part about it is, he doesn't even roll them. He has one of the players roll a dice for him, and then giggles because that guy always knows a random encounter.
Jay, yeah. If the wandering encounter is like a 1 in 6 or a 1 in 12, Jay, which is not his real name, but I'm using his first initial, he's going to roll 1 every time. Every time. And so I'll just look over at Jay and be like, go ahead and roll me a dice 6. And he's like, and sure as shit, he ran 1. Like,
And I just start as soon as James was like, go ahead and roll me a dice. I'm like, oh shit, give us a break.
and I'm like, no breaks. And so then he rolls the 1, and then I'm like, all right, I need to roll another dice 6 because I have my wandering monster chart set up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they get tougher. And that's when he rolls the 5. And I'm like, oh, so it's on the toughest chart. Roll me a die 20. Manticore out of the blue. Just right up your butt.
Yeah, that didn't work out well for you though.
No, the Manticore landed. It shot its iron shards at everyone, you know. And then the thief chucked her dagger of hellish death or whatever it's called at the Manticore. Nat 20, the Manticore failed its save and immediately died.
Not only did it die, it so got sucked down to hell.
Yeah,
So you got a
that's
free
good.
Manticore hide jacket. You should be happy.
They I think one of the times a random encounter was rolled for was when they were standing in the middle of Kudo's well, arguing about what to do with the Manticore.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Because our D&D party is a committee for some reason.
it is. You guys are always like,
I'm always like, hey, let's do this. And everybody's like, well, we could do that, but we could do that. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, we're going to have a random encounter.
yep. Yeah, I make them roll. And like I said, Cody, the guy that I asked to roll, he is notorious for always rolling whatever he don't want. Like he accidentally smacked Hungar's character for a shit ton of damage.
Yeah.
Oh, friendly fire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he rolled on Thesagwa's woe, and he had cast. Basically, he's got a spell that's like magic missile, but he's got to roll to hit, and then it shoots a shit ton of ice sickles at somebody and does a lot of damage, right? And he rolled the nat 1, and ended up being Haas's cleric, and he was going to end up doing something like 5 dice 6 damage.
Ouch.
But luckily, he rolled like a bunch of 1s. And plus, Haas's cleric is actually pretty damn tough because he's a cleric. So, he's got that die 8 hit die, and he's got a pretty good con. So,
Yeah, I was
used to have a pretty good con.
I was gonna help him get that tick. I was gonna help him get that tick off of him. Off of
that
himself.
ended up being like the worst encounter ever.
Yeah, I was gonna help with my +3 flail.
Yeah, footman's flow.
Yeah, I was gonna crank that fool with that flail. Crank
If
that
you hit
tick.
him with that thing, it'd probably kill him.
Well, I was gonna hit the tick.
That's what it says. If you rolled a 1, you would have hit him, and I don't think he's got more than like 15 hit points.
Well, I figured that there would be some extra damage that would soak into him from the tick damage.
And then the witch would vanish.
Which the witch is cool, but I'm kind of tired of getting hit by exploding bone fragments.
Witches in this game have a spell where they summon a skull and they throw it, and basically it operates like a fireball, except bone fragments, right?
Ooh.
On a couple of encounters, she's tried to throw it like a grenade and it's hit the ground and bounced.
Back to us.
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't she take you to -7?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Hungar's character was bleeding out. Like
Oh,
on the
that
spot.
wasn't from the bone fragments. That was from me running up and taking
Oh,
her
yeah,
damage.
that was the orc chief because you ran up and did transfer damage. So Haas's cleric took all of Agatha the witch's damage to him. So she was fully healed, right? And then immediately after, the chieftain of this tribe of 50 or 60 orcs, I think 60, smacks the shit out of him with a footman's flail, which is like a pole arm. And the next thing you know, the cleric's on the ground at -7. You know,
Would he
bleeding
play
out.
dead at -10?
Yeah. Yeah. And you lose a point every round. So, but I mean, players can, if they choose, they can run up and bandage you up.
It worked out well for me because I own that flail now.
Yeah, they ended up getting him up off the ground, and he immediately killed the orc and tucked the flail. And then when they were having a discussion about who should have the flail, he was like, "This is my flail." And they're like, "Okay."
Yeah, because yeah,
because you were bitching that you didn't have any magic items.
yeah. And so a few people in the game have like all the magic items.
Uh-huh. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying what happened.
Like I found a two-handed flaming sword. I'm like, I could use that. I'm a cleric, and I could use that, and it's badass. And the party all voted that somebody else should have it.
Be fair though, she has been kicking ass with it.
And I wouldn't kick ass with it.
You probably would too. I mean, your
Assuming you
character's
didn't set
probably
yourself on fire.
your character is probably the second toughest character in the game for sure.
I am the toughest character in the game.
No,
Yeah, because I have something they don't have.
heal smells.
And hold person.
And
Well,
Moxie.
you know, yeah,
And hold person affects up to 4 people for an hour.
and lasts for an hour. That's bad. Yeah, well, yeah. If you fight with somebody, and I don't even know what we're talking about, but if you fight with somebody and they fail that save versus hold person, they are pretty much going to be done. That will be it. Because then you can just coup de grace and be like, yeah, you're dead. However, if a certain person were to go into berserker mode
And turn
come
into a
after
bear.
you,
And turn into a bear.
and turn into a giant bear.
After drinking the giant
No, let's not get crazy. When she goes into berserker mode, she gets another +4 versus any mind controlling magic.
I'm just saying it would be funny.
So-
She takes her potion of giant growth,
Goes
turns into
berserk
a
and
bear.
then turns into a bear.
Yeah.
So you're being ran down by like a gigantic bear. And because of her level and being berserker, she gets, I think, 3 attacks every 2 rounds with that great axe.
Yeah, but if she's a bear, she gets 3 attacks a turn.
Yeah, if she goes into bear form, then it's claw, bite. And if she gets both claws on you, she can also do a hug.
I know all about that spear because
Grr.
my dwarf character has that spear and that cloak, and one of the
Well,
other
the
games.
cloak, yes, that's what she has, and then the Spartan has the spear.
Yeah, I know all about that combo of weapon and item.
Because in the OSE game, you had those weapons, didn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, you played along really well when I reran that adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the other people had never been through it. That
Dude.
adventure is Goodman Games, the Ancient Beast Lords, or something like that.
Well, right now you're running pretty much Neverwinter Nights.
No, I'm running Polar Radiance,
Oh, Polar Radiance. Yeah, same thing.
except I've changed a lot of the monsters and everything.
Yeah, but I know it. I'm just not saying shit about it because I'm there to help the parties.
I mean, to be fair though, I didn't change the Spectre in the library. He was
No,
still
you
in there.
didn't. No, you didn't, you bastard.
Yeah. But Kudos Well was supposed to be like a bunch of kobolds and goblins, and I threw in a whole damn tribe of orcs. And
Yeah.
orcs in Hyperborea are no joke.
And
I keep
I
telling-
waited
keep
until
saying
I
that.
waited.
They're not a joke.
I waited until everybody else started searching stuff before I decided to search stuff. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's like my character as the cleric. I'm just there for support.
Yeah, it's so
That's
far,
what-
I mean, I don't know how long we've been playing, but it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's why I don't try to tell everybody what to do all the time.
How long have we been playing now?
We've been playing for
This campaign. It's
about a
been going on
year,
for months, hasn't it?
about half a year.
Yeah, about 6 months now.
Yeah, I haven't
And,
gamed in a while. It's been about a month and a half since I was in a game.
And there is no sign that we are not going to just continue playing this game.
You know, I've been playing Temple of Elemental Evil on my computer because it's Temple of Elemental Evil.
Yeah, I added it to Hyperborea. I need to upload that video.
They changed it, the video game, where
Oh,
there's
wow.
more. They changed, like, when you go to the Rainbow Rock after you kill the skeletons, you go to the Rainbow Rock to get the stuff out of it, right?
Right.
Well, now a skeletal priest and 4 skeletal warriors jump up with long spears for that ass.
Hmm.
Or, I mean, it's just, they've made it a lot harder.
Well, that's a weird thing too, because Troika went out of business, but there's a whole community of people that have not only fixed all of the bugs in the game, but they kind of keep adding shit to the game.
Yeah, and now GOG has the game.
So
And
if you like 3rd edition D&D, it's actually right up your alley.
I just like the adventure. See, I hated it on DDO because Will Wheaton narrated the.
Ew.
I thought it was okay.
Gross.
I mean, I understand Will Wheaton's kind of a putz, but you
Well-
know,
Will Wheaton's.
but he was just talking about how he got into D&D, and I'm like, all right, I get it. The neighbor kid was rich and had money to have D&D stuff, and then his parents got divorced, and he gave you all the shit because he had to move. Kind of a sucky way to get your D&D stuff, but okay. Now, the rest of his personal life, I think, is a freaking joke, but
I just kept on thinking to myself, "Shut up, Wesley."
yeah, I think everyone saying "shut up, Wesley" to him on Twitter all those years might have gave him PTSD or something.
Oh, there was a funny thing where he like made some big announcement on Twitter that he was going to block anyone who ever said that to him again. And Patrick Stewart said, "Shut up, Will." to him.
Yeah, that's
that
funny.
was pretty funny.
Did you
Yeah,
cry?
he tried to talk to Shatner too about Shatner saying something to him, and William Shatner's like, "I don't even remember meeting that kid."
Yeah, Shatter is based. I like Shatter.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not even
He's
sure
got
who
no
that
time
is.
for anybody's bullshit.
Yeah, every now and then him and Takai go at it. It's pretty crazy.
Oh, I gotta get ready to take the corn dog to work.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
should go myself. I got to eat. But
Well,
it's good seeing you boys.
Yeah, the corn dog is
I'll try to
getting
get
his
you
things off his-
again soon.
okay.
and
You guys have a great night.
you
You
hey,
too, sir.
hey,
Hmm?
hey. If you need anybody to just look at your game, you can always send me a copy of it.
I will do. I've got you on Discord, right?
Yeah, you should. How about my brother's Discord?
Okay, yeah, I'll send you a PDF. Actually, I'll do that now. I'll
Nice.
talk to you guys later.
Later,
See
homie.
ya.
Yeah, corn dog work. He's got to work until close tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and young Master Gregory is already at work till close tonight.
Damn, man. You're all just at home alone.
Yeah, I'm gonna be home by myself, which is great. I'm gonna lay around and sleep and watch
I
anime.
thought your wife was home.
She went back to work Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she
Blue
only came home
filters
for.
arrived. Yeah, if they
she-
work, let me know, man. That shit's interesting to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those glasses. Yeah, let us know. I
Yeah,
bet.
I'd love to know if they actually work.
Yeah, since that day of me talking shit about eye strain, I've been having like major eye strain, getting headaches and stuff.
Stop staying up all night staring at your phone.
You know I don't stay up all night. I go to bed early. I'm a good boy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to tell you then, homie. Like, if you go to bed early and everything, then there's nothing I could tell you. I need to find a couple of swords to put in this asshole's hand.
I need to figure out what I'm gonna make for dinner. I haven't even eaten dinner tonight.
We've got leftovers and salad. We went to Aldi's yesterday. I went with the wife and we picked up a bunch of stuff,
I got half of a rotisserie chicken in the fridge.
Dude, that's all you need.
That's all I need. I might stop by the store and get a half loaf of French bread,
Hell
bread
yeah.
and butter, pickles, and rotisserie chicken.
That's what I'm talking about.
Maybe
And
a
then
little cheese.
you can imagine that you're in some kind of medieval tavern somewhere.
That's what I like to do. Eat, get some cheese, pickles, and bread.
Right. And then you're like,
Are you willing to die for a chicken? Somebody's going to.
somebody is. I like that. You shut your mouth or I'll eat every chicken. And that's why I like him. And I actually need to finish painting this character. I have the Hound. Now they made two. They made a plastic one and they made a metal one. This is the metal one. And you can tell because of his helmet,
Yeah.
looks like a hound's head. And his tabard should be yellow.
Yeah.
But yeah. And I've got his brother over here too. The mountain.
Yeah.
The mountain that rides, as they called him.
They did the mountain dirty in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. That probably wouldn't be a bad idea at all. Take yourself,
Another shirt.
another shirt. Yeah. So there's a couple of single-handed weapons on this Dark Elf sprue, and I think I'm going to use them.
Nice.
And I'm going to put them on this stupid freaking scorpion guy. Because according to the monster bestiary of Hyperborea, he should be armed with two swords.
Nice.
Whereas the Reaper, they arm him with kind of one big sword, but the way he's carrying it, he's not carrying it like a great sword. He's just kind of carrying it,
Yep.
So
Well, I'm out of here, brother. I love you.
yeah, you too, homie.
I'll see you tomorrow.
You will.
Awesome.
All right.
Later, everybody.
Yeah. It's getting about that time for me. I mean, I like to hang out a little bit more longer and yes, around on Mondays, but yeah, it's getting a little bit later. So I'm pinning is what I'm doing, which all of you know. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run pins in this guy and attach a different sword to him. And that should be splendid. Splendid. That should be splendiferous. Okay. There we go. So yeah, these dark elf blades are really cool looking. They're like, all with crazy back hooks and things like that. So I think, yeah, I'm wearing the OG Hunger shirt, the original one. That's like decade plus old. So yeah, I'm gonna pin this in just a little bit. Yeah, I like the fact that these dark elf blades look so kind of weird and unrealistic, because the fact that they're being carried around by half scorpion, half humans, you wouldn't expect them to look like, a Saxon arming sword or something. You kind of would expect it to be some kind of weird shit. And then again, as I always say to people, I mean, the whole point of Hyperborea is weird stuff. I mean, that's really, really the thing. I mean, if you're not embracing the weirdness of Hyperborea, then why play Hyperborea? You would be just as well off playing any other version of D&D, really. Pretty much, I mean, anything. I'm just, and kit bashing. Just able to take a miniature and I mean, there's just something about it that, 40K or whatever I'm working on. It just makes me feel pretty good about things, That is just the whole thing. I do like the modeling aspect of wargaming and stuff. Huge fan. Huge fan. So let's see. So that's in there just about perfect, isn't it? That really is. Let's see. Yeah, so let's see the sword. And then his other hand's been drilled out. And I'll find a sword to put in there too, since the rank and file of these guys, that's typically how they're all armed, is with double swords. Now, the one guy that I really modded up with different scorpion bits, he's special and he's got a big ass two-handed hammer, but the rest of them. Also, just because I showed you guys the bloody tongue or whatever, which is Nyarlathotep, I decided to go in and paint the humanoid figure on the inside of the tentacles coal black. Yep, catch you later. And then I'm going to go back where the rib cage and everything is and actually do white and do a bone color. I should have done that years ago, but you know, better late than never. And then, yeah, here's the Scorpion Lord that I changed. I gave him the bigger, thicker claws and the bigger tail. And he's got a Goliath top on him and with a big freaking two-handed mace. So I think that should be pretty cool, you know. And he's wearing like a bear hide. I'll probably make the bear hide like a polar bear hide. You know, that just seems like the way to go with it. Since they live, you know, in a tundra, but a brown bear would work too. You know, could use a brown bear. So right now I am just looking for a little bit of brass wire. And if I can't find it, I will go to my backup. And my backup, when I run out of brass wire, is just staples. Like the kind you just buy in the box. Just straighten them out and clip them off. They're about exactly the same size as the brass wire is. So they work magnificently. You know, to post miniatures. So this is all Baltec figures. I don't need the Baltec figures. This is what I'm looking for, I think. But no, I'm not seeing. All right, get in there, Shylon fighter. So I think we're wrapping up, guys. There it is. There it is. I know I had copper rods in one of my drawers, but so we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up, and I will chat with you guys at a later time. So peace and love to each and every one of you, and good gaming, and I hope you have a lot of fun, and I hope something we've said was entertaining. And if not, I apologize for wasting your time, but I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me.